So you got a few. Is somebody missing one? All right. Okay, now, you're not supposed to be working on it right now. I know different things happen in middle school. I'm noticing last night when I came out of the packet, people start working right away. So just wait a second, okay? First of all, you need to know what unit analysis is. I'm not big on definitions, but it's real important that you convert from one thing to another. In fact, I am going to show you this, if I can find it. Or I bet I can go here and find it. I cannot tell you how important this is. One thing that I hope you'll like about this class is I'll tell you why you're doing what you're doing. Like, instead of you just sitting there going, I don't really want to do this. Like, when would I ever use this? Unit analysis is like if you're talking in inches and I need it in miles. If you're in inches per second and I need it in miles per hour. Also, I use unit analysis like if you go to another country, you need to be able to convert euros to dollars or whatever country that you're in. That's pretty significant, especially if all of a sudden if you're spending $3, it sort of almost has a feel of a 1-to-1 ratio. But if you're spending $300, it can make a big difference. All of a sudden your bill is really $340. So some of you have traveled outside the country and you know that conversion. And then you go to another country, you desperately need to know that conversion. Look at this. Oh, this is not what I wanted. Let me find it. There may be one I want here, though. This isn't the one that I want. Those are miscounts. All right, so you think you had a hard day at work, or you think you had a hard day at school. Sorry, I've got ads coming in. Stop seeing this ad. I'm not interested. Are you serious? Okay. Is it going to keep doing that? Okay, hopefully this site won't be too weird. We'll see. Think you had a bad day at work. At least you didn't lose equipment worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Forgetting to convert units can result in big-time disasters like the 6 examples. Let me see if I can get rid of these people walking. Okay. Can you imagine losing $125 million thanks to a little metric system error? That's exactly what happened in 1999 when NASA lost the Mars orbiter. I always tell this story every year. There was one engineer thought that they were programming in the computers. Suppose that Evelyn and I were engineers with NASA and we were working on this Mars orbiter that we were going to launch. So I have this job to make this computation, this calculation, that is usually done in the metric system, but I did it in the English system, and I got something that I hand to Evelyn, who knows what she's doing, and types it into the computer. They launch the Mars orbiter. It gets really close to Mars, and then they lose it. They can't find it anywhere. It's gone. $125 million gone. And they trace it back to me, who didn't convert my English to metric before I handed it to Evelyn. Or Evelyn, sorry, I picked you out of it because I could remember your name. Maybe she should have double-checked me, okay? But I'm telling you, that was just what we're doing today. It was somebody didn't convert from kilometers to miles or something, miles to kilometers. The calculation was right, but it had not been converted. 125 million of our taxpayer dollars gone. Thank goodness there wasn't a person on it. It was just going to orbit Mars. Just the year before, NASA lost equipment worth millions thanks to shoddy conversion practices. The solar helio, I'll just call it SOHO, lost all communications with Earth. There was an error in the spacecraft's navigation measurement of nearly 100 kilometers. This is interesting. In 1983, an Air Canada plane ran out of fuel in the middle of a flight. People really need to know how to do this stuff that we're doing today. The cause, not one but 2 mistakes in figuring out how much fuel was needed. It was Air Canada's first plane to use metric systems, metric measurements, and clearly not everyone had the hang of it yet. 1999, the Institute for Safe Medical Practices reported an instance where a patient received 0.5 grams of a sedative instead of 0.5 grains of a sedative. You need to know if I'm talking in inches or feet, if I'm talking in miles or inches, if I'm talking in kilometers or miles, if I'm talking in centimeters. You need to know, okay? So it's super important. You're also going to be doing it in your science classes. So this will help. An aircraft with more than 30,000 pounds was more than 30,000 pounds overweight. It's certainly no laughing matter. The FAA received an anonymous tip that American International Airways flight had landed 15 tons heavier than it should have. They're lucky it didn't crash. There's a few stories where somebody they miscalculated, and I could give you more horrible disasters, but that's not my point. I think I've made the point now. I have actual, I was going to say I have actual friends. That's kind of sad. I have friends who have actually told me stories of someone at their work that miscalculated something, didn't convert correctly, and lost their company $40,000. And I'm like, did you fire them? And they're like, probably going to. We'll see if they can continue making these. The company had to eat the loss, if you know what that means. They had to just take the loss and keep on moving. They could trace it back to somebody that didn't know how to convert. So we're going to convert today, okay? Some of y'all did this with little boxes. I'm not a real boxy person. I think you've done this before, and you're welcome to do boxes if you like it. Let me show you what I mean. I think some people do little boxes, and they start off with like 45 months to years. 45 months, and then if y'all know what I mean when you put things in little boxes, raise your hand if you've ever done that, where you go like 1 year has 12 months, and then you cross out. Do you use boxes? I don't use boxes. You can use boxes. I don't use boxes because you can already tell I don't plan ahead for how big I need to write, so I don't use boxes. I do it like it is on the sheet. So let's do the first example together, okay? So our goal is to change 45 months to years. So I'm going to write down 45 months, and then I've got to eventually get to years. This one's going to go pretty fast because I know 1 year has 12 months. Oh, by the way, you need fractions, so put this over 1. So what I hand you, 45 months, you write on your paper, and then you start your conversions. What happens to the word months?
It gets crossed out.
It cancels out, it gets crossed out. And what word is left? Years. And so you'd say 45 divided by 12 on your calculator is fine. And so that converts into 3.75 years. Okay? All right, let's do the next one. 25 yards to feet. By the way, 25 yards is what you're starting with. So you see I wrote down, you can barely see it because I've got Louie in the way, but I wrote down 25 yards. And then the next word I see is 2. I need to end up with feet. Okay, so again, this one's pretty easy. Oh, by the way, I will give you on quizzes and tests, and I'll show you one. I hope I'll bring one to the next class. I'll give you a conversion chart. If you don't have all these memorized, nobody really cares a whole lot. I mean, there's ones that are common. You should know there's 12 inches in a foot kind of thing. But I will bring, I'll provide it even on the test. There'll be a chart on the test of conversions that we've used. I just want to know if you can do it, not if you've memorized them, because anybody can look them up in the book or Google it or whatever. All right, so 25 yards to feet. So we're going to feet, and so I know that there's 3 feet and 1 yard. Now, wait a minute. How did I know which way to write that? I know that 1 yard has 3 feet in it. I know there's 3 feet in 1 yard. Is it going to do me any good to say 1 yard to 3 feet? So one of our big decisions is which way to write the scenario. What's equal to what, okay? That's not going to do me any good, is it? Because what do I want to happen? I want to cross out some words, don't I? So there'll be times that you write it down and go, wait, that's not helping. I've got yards, okay? So I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to have 3 feet to 1 yard, and my yards cancel. And then I have 25 times 3, so that's 75 feet. All right, now let's do something bigger. Let's go 4 meters to 1 yard. I'm sorry, 4 meters to yards. It's not going to be 1 yard. So 4 meters to yards, we'll move Louis. All right, so I have 4 meters. Don't know why I wrote 5. You can just write M for meters. Okay, so you see I have your little conversion fact here? There's 36 inches in a yard, but you may not even know about how many meters are in a yard or a foot or whatever it is that you need, but you'll have some conversions that you can use, okay? So you'll have this conversion on a sheet of paper with centimeters or meters, but our little paper right now is telling us there's 39.37 inches in 1 meter. I myself would probably go to centimeters, so let's do that. Does anybody know how many centimeters are in an inch? There's 2.54 centimeters in an inch. Does that all sound familiar?
Yes.
Okay, I just know that one. I'm not even going to work it this way and see if I get the same answer. My point is, it kind of doesn't matter sometimes what you write next as long as you just keep canceling out words. So I'm going to say, now which way is it? Is it 100 centimeters in a meter? Or is it 100 meters in a centimeter?
It's 100 centimeters in a meter.
Okay, do we all agree with that? 100 centimeters in a meter. So I'm going to put 100 centimeters in 1 meter. You can put this over 1. I'm sorry, I forgot to do that. These cancel. And now I'm going to change centimeters to inches. I'm on my way to yards, by the way, but I have to do a few steps. So now I know how many inches, I know how many centimeters are in an inch. I know that, watch how I decide to write this. I know that 1 inch has 2.54 centimeters. Will anything cross out?
Yeah.
Which? What?
100 centimeters, I'm sorry.
Well, the word will cross out. What word will cross out? Centimeters. So these are gone. All right, what am I trying to get to? Let's remind ourselves. 4 meters to yards. I'm trying to get all the way to yards. Okay, you may want to get your calculator.
What does the lines on top say? I mean the numbers on top of 2.4.
That's 2.54 centimeters.
What's on top?
1 inch has 2.54 centimeters. 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters. You might want to get your calculators out in just a few minutes for me to make sure you know how to type all this in. All right, girls, now where am I trying to get? 4 meters, change it into what?
Yards.
Right now I'm only in inches. So I'm trying to go to yards. So what can I go to next? I usually change inches to what? I usually change inches to feet. How many inches are in a foot? 12. All right, now where do I want my word inches? Don't I want it down here so it'll cancel?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to put 1 foot has 12 inches. So this is 1 foot, 12 inches. This cancels. Inches are gone. All of these words are gone. All of these words we've crossed out. And I'll write over the numbers in just a minute, the different colors, so you can see them better. But now I'm in feet. I finally am about to get into yards. How many feet are in a yard? 3. Where do I want the feet? On the top or the bottom? On the bottom. So I'm going to say 1 yard. Sorry, I have to squeeze that in. Has 3 feet. Feet cancels. And finally, I'm in yards. So I'm going to undo that because it's hard to see. All right, let me show you what's left standing. Look at the top. It's 4, 100, 1, 1, and 1. Do I really need to multiply by those ones? Okay, what's on the bottom? 1, 1, 2.54, 12, and 3. So I'm not gonna multiply as I go. I'm gonna wait until I'm at the very end, and I'm gonna multiply it together. Girls, it's super important that you put the numerator and denominator, y'all know those words, right? It's super important that you put the top and the bottom in parentheses, or your calculator will give you the wrong answer. If you just type in 4 times 100 times, well, that's all I have. 4 times 100 times 1 times 1 times 1. And then if I hit divided by 2.54 times 12 times 3, if I don't put parentheses, all it'll do is divide this by 2.54. It won't divide, it won't keep dividing, it doesn't know. So do you see how I put the top and the bottom in parentheses? How a lot of teachers do this is you keep these ugly numbers kind of running as you go, and it's really very, very tedious. It's just wait until the end and type it in all at once. Okay, so I'm going to do, oh, I'm sorry, there was maybe a question. Gabby, did you have a question?
I was just thinking, if you press that little green button at the top.
Yeah, I can make it bigger. I just got the screen oriented, and this room is technology so fretful that I'm kind of scared to touch anything since it's working right now, to be honest. I'll just move Louie over and write bigger. All right, Desmos is where I'm going, but if you'll get out your calculators, and does everybody know where the parentheses is on your calculator? If you don't, ask a friend. A lot of y'all are nodding, so you're going to do parentheses. Now, girls, some of you have your computers open and maybe using Desmos, but you're not going to have your computers on the test. So make sure you know how to use your calculator. During the test, you can't call me over and say, how do I do this on my calculator? Okay? So be sure you're looking at a friend. Does everybody know parentheses? Okay, lots of people are going, yeah. Okay, so now let me move this over. Where's my notebook? We're typing in 4 times 100. I don't really need to do that. I realize that's 400. But saying it was ugly words, ugly numbers, we're going to put in 4 times 100. Oops. Okay, 4 times 100 divided by, open parentheses, and now put in the bottom, which is 2.54 times 12 times 3. 2.54 times 12 times 3. Now, it doesn't really look like that on your calculator, does it? I mean, but I hope you have parentheses divided and another parentheses. Did everybody have that? All right, push enter. You should get 4.37, which is what it has on a
You just,
divide.
Divided.
just this forward slash. Underneath the question mark?
Yeah, this.
Yeah, is that the box?
Oh, Victoire, if you're going to be using your computer in class for this, it's best just to go to Desmos. It's easy to see. That way you're not.
I want it.
Oh, do you not see divided by right there by the 9?
Oh, you have to put up the.
Do you have a keyboard pulled up? Got it? That'll help. That way you're not having to fumble around. Yeah. You can pull up this keyboard.
Oh,
There we go. Here's the last. It should be the TI-84. Those of you with the TI-84, did you push enter and you got, you should get 4.37. If you didn't, let me know. So let me see what you typed in incorrectly or compare it. Did yours give you a fraction? Or you didn't get 4.37? Are you okay? Are you using Desmos right now? You got a, oh, you didn't put 2.54. Let me show you how to fix that. Hit second enter. Oh, no, you probably have to your calculator in there. You can probably just go up here. I just put a dot and enter. I put one again. And I insert. See that was 6. Get better at it. That way you don't have to read that. You just do it. Do you see what I'm saying? Anybody else? Y'all okay? Y'all okay?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, but it has like 2.
Girls, I kind of wish somebody had shown me this, like wait until the end to do it all at once instead of keeping up with all these nasty numbers as you go and trying around as you go. It gets horrible. Just wait and get a long string of numbers. I'll do it more neatly on the next one. Okay? All right, so let's go to, let me try this, your suggestion, Gabby, and see if it works.
That's an
Okay, I'm good.
adorable dog.
All right, so it's kind of a little too big, but it's better than it was for sure. All right, now let's go. Okay, I don't want to do the next one yet. Let's go to your homework and do some together. I tell you what, I was going to say right now, I'll just email you a conversion table. Let me tell you some things you don't want to do. I'm not going to right now email you a conversion table. I'll do it right after class. You'll have it for your homework. Right now, you just have to trust me. But I'll give you like a little reference table to look at that I hope has enough of your conversions on it. What I don't want you to do, I probably will know. If you Google how many inches are in a meter, actually what will come up is a little conversion, and you can actually do all your problems without doing anything. You could put in 4 meters and it'll change it to inches automatically for you. You could write that on your paper. You realize that's a really bad idea, right? I mean, as far as being able to do it yourself one day on a quiz or a test. So don't do that, but it's a good place to check your answers. I don't really care. But make sure you're looking in Google. If there's not a conversion that I've given you, you still want to find just look up a conversion table. I will send you one right after class. And let me pause for a minute and say, listen carefully. If I'm going from miles to inches, I would probably, because I know the conversion to feet, I would change to feet, and then I would change to inches. Do you see how it kind of flows if you're really calm? Sometimes it doesn't matter which one you work with first, as long as you're still canceling out words. All right, so we're going to do some of your homework together, and this is what I was telling you. I already forgot your name that asked like where you should write your homework. What's your name? Jillian. Okay. So you can see how much space this takes, okay? All right, so let's do number 1. Oh, yeah, let's see. Can I find everything here? Where's my eraser?
If you like,
I might have to get out of this. I'm just going to write it like this because it's what I'm going to have to do. Let's shrink Louie. Bye-bye, Louie. Little bitty. Little bitty Louie. Okay. So now, number 1. Number 1 on your homework is 6 miles to feet. So notice I'm writing the word down that I gave you, and you're going to end up at feet. So 6 miles, put it over 1, 6 over 1. And this is what made me think I need to give you a conversion table. In your conversion table, you would have 5,280 feet and 1 mile. You and I both, girls, it doesn't matter if you go, watch my hands. It doesn't matter if you say 12 inches in 1 foot or 1 foot in 12 inches. Isn't it true, whichever way you write it? Okay? But you want the words to cancel out, right? You and I sometimes will write something down and realize, oh, we need it's reciprocal. We need to flip it over, okay? All right, so the miles cancel, so I'm successfully in feet. And now I'm done with number 1. So if a few of you would type in 6 times 5,280, and I have the answers up here I can check. So first one to get it, just holler it out. You don't have to raise your hand, y'all are so sweet. You can just call it out.
31,680.
Perfect. Feet. So number 1 is done, okay? Let's skip down to number 7. So we're skipping, so make sure you go back and fill in all the others. Okay, girls? Y'all got what I'm saying? So now we're going to number 7. Number 7, we're changing 56 hours, so I write that word down, over 1. And I'm going to seconds. So I've got to eventually get to seconds from hours. What do you want to do first? Hours to minutes. Okay, so 1 hour has 60 minutes. But I want to write it this way. There's 60 minutes, in 1 hour, right? Because I want my hours to cancel. And then y'all ready to go to seconds? So now I'm going to say 60 seconds.
Wait, do we multiply? Yeah.
I wouldn't. I would wait at the very end and do it.
Okay. But
Just-
we multiply the 60 seconds with the rest.
Wait, why 60 seconds if we already have 56?
It's hours.
We're going from
I had
hours
50
to seconds and convert from hours to seconds. So we go from hours.
Hang
We're
on.
going from hours to minutes.
Well, to
Hang
no,
on.
we're going from hours to seconds. That's the problem.
So I've got this big block of, hang on, let me, am I answering Claire? Was Claire the one that asked why?
Yeah, I'm confused. on
Okay. And we have this big block of hours. We have 56 hours, which is more than 2 days, right? Okay. So we have this lots of hours. I don't know how many seconds are in those hours. So aren't there a lot of minutes?
Oh, no, I get it now.
Okay. All right. So are you okay now?
Yeah, no.
Okay. Now back to some other questions. That's why I say just wait until the end and do one fell swoop multiplication. Okay? So you're not having to keep up with big numbers as you go. It can be horrible. So these minutes cancel. And do I really have to do any division here? Because what's on the bottom of each fraction? 1, 1, and 1. Okay, do you have the answer?
No,
Oh,
I have a
question? Okay.
When you say cancel it, I'm kind of, that's like where I get stuck, I guess. It's like 51 divided by 1, and then.
Oh, this is 56. I'm sorry.
56. 2 divided by 1, and then like, how come, if we cross these out, how come they were there in the first place?
Okay, I had 56 hours.
What?
That's not the word.
I know, but how can we grow?
Here, I'll answer it. So you have 56 hours. Okay. For every single one of those hours, each one of those hours. So I'm going to just like get rid of that for a minute, okay? Every hour has 60 minutes in it. There's 60 minutes in 1 hour. So if I have 2 hours, how many minutes are there?
180.
120?
120.
But do you see what I mean so far? If I did that right. 3 hours would have 180 because I would have 6. But you see, I don't want to do that with 56, do I?
Yeah.
So what are you doing each time? Aren't you getting another 60 each time?
Yeah, you're
So when I
dividing.
multiply, it does it for me. Now let's put our number back in front. That's a great question. So for every hour, I get 60 minutes. But I've got 56 hours, so do you see why I'm multiplying those two? So what happens is this word just cancels out. Because now I've just converted it into minutes.
Okay.
I just converted it into minutes. Because I multiplied by 60. So now it's in minutes. So if I have 1 hour and I multiply it by 60, I don't have hours anymore. What do I have?
Minutes.
Minutes. Okay. Now, what does each minute have in it? How many seconds?
60 seconds.
Okay. So would you agree that if I want to go to seconds, that no matter what this is, every minute has 60 seconds. So for 1 minute, I want to multiply by 60 to get the seconds. But if you keep the number there, it just does it all for you. Does that help a little bit?
What?
Does that help a little bit?
Yeah.
Or okay. So this is 60 seconds and 1 minute. So so I'm not in minutes anymore, I guess is what the answer to the question. It feels really weird to cancel out a word. But once you've converted, like 3 feet, do you know how many inches are in 3 feet? Sorry, I'm putting you on the spot, but
Not really.
okay. There's 36 inches, because how many inches are in each foot?
36 divided by.
Okay, so there's 12 inches in a foot. So every time you have a foot, you get 12 inches. Okay? Here's a great one. I think this will help you. And she's not the only one. She's the only one that's asking me questions. We'll go to a blue slide because they're really cute. All right. I want to know how many quarters are in $5. So let's you and I just reason it out. How many quarters are in $1?
4.
4. Okay? So every dollar that I have is going to have 4.
So then it's 20.
20 quarters. But I could do it this way. I could say there are 4 quarters and every dollar. Now my dollars are gone because now I've got 20 quarters. Do you see the 5 times 4 here that you got 20? As soon as you and I multiply by 4, which is what you just did when you said 20, you're now in quarters. You're not in dollars anymore. Okay? All right, let's go back to this slide. And I'm sure somebody has this big old answer for me by now. Number 7. Gabby?
Is it 201,600 seconds?
201,600 seconds. 201,600 seconds. Okay, and we're not going to get to our little fun activity today, but I'll move it till next class. We have kind of a little nonsense fun thing to do. We'll do a couple more. I'll tell you what I want you to do for homework. Let's just start off not too aggressively. Let's go just do 1 through 10, and I've already done 2 of them, so you don't have a huge, horrible bunch of homework. 1 through 10 shouldn't take you very long. We're on all different levels here, so please come by and see me. I don't mind you coming by and checking your answers. I'm not going to post them right now, but I'll give them to you. And then in class, we'll keep working on this worksheet, and we'll do something fun next class. This wasn't fun. Yana?